Welcome back to TC 911 Beyond the Call. This is episode 13, and I'm your host, Abbey Dudek, the communications coordinator here at Tarrant County 911 District. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome, and thank you for checking out the podcast. I hope that everyone's enjoying it. I started it January 2nd, and so far, season 1, we have been sitting down and chatting with the staff here at Tarrant County 911 District. They are fabulous people. If you haven't listened to all of them, please go back and listen to them. There's so many amazing men and women that work here in the office, and they do an amazing job. After we finish our roster of folks here at the district office, I'm going to venture out for season 2, and I'm going to go and talk with leadership at the 911 communication centers here in Tarrant County in our district area, managers, assistant managers, supervisors, things like that. And you can learn about the leadership that goes on in the dispatch centers. And then we're going to go out and I'm going to chat with the 911 headset heroes themselves. In our district area for Tarrant County, we only have 732 dispatchers, only, just a small amount. So, and that is cities that's combining like Fort Worth and Arlington and Grand Prairie, and we do have Irving. And I know I've mentioned this before in some of the podcasts. Yes, we have Irving, even though it's in Dallas County. When we started, when Tarrant County 911 District was being established, Irving asked to come out and come and be part of it, and they let them do it. So that's great. The more the merrier. So we have 30 911 centers in our district, and so we have plenty of dispatchers to sit down and have wonderful chats with. And so with that being said, today we are going to talk about April. We are in April. Can you believe it? April already. What happened to March? What happened to February? And was there even a January? So it's April 3rd. And we are in 911 Education Month. So happy 911 Education Month. This is my month. This is my time. I mean, I enjoy my job. I love my job, and I love educating. The parts of it is educating the public about 911, all the ins and outs, who we are as a district, what we do, why we are the way we are, everything like that. So this month just really focus on it and reminding how important it is to educate your children, educate yourself of all ages about 911, how it functions, because it's a lot different than it has been just even 10 years ago or 20 years ago or definitely 30 years. And, there's text to 911, and that's kind of making its way around of people knowing that you can do that here in Tarrant County and other surrounding counties here in North Texas. So 911 Appreciation Month was actually established in 2008. So it's just efforts to provide resources and representatives of 911 to support public education and what 911 services do and the ins and outs of it. Like I said, I love going out in the community. One of the great things about the Tarrant County 911 District is that in my position, you can call on me, email me and say, hey, I'm having an event. I run the PTA at the school. I am part of the neighborhood association. We're having this, or I work at the senior centers, or I work at a school, or part of Girl Scouts, or whatever organization you may be or business, and say, we'd love for you to come out and talk about 911. That is something that I do. I've been doing it for almost 7 years now, and I love doing it. It's absolutely free. We do not charge at all. As long as I'm available, I will come out and talk about 911 and discuss all sorts of things. And I've gone to pretty much everything that I've just listed. I've gone to all of those organizations, schools, businesses, nonprofits, senior centers, all sorts of wonderful organizations and businesses to educate what's going on in Tarrant County with 911, and also the 911 education of the do's and don'ts and what to expect when you call 911. So this month we really focus on that, which I focus on it every day, but I love it that there's a month. That's fun. And then the most exciting thing about April too, besides it being Education Month for 911, is that the second full week in April so next week is the 9th through the 15th is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. This week is dedicated to recognizing the women and men that wear those headsets and that are sitting there 24/7 ready to take your call in an emergency or answer your non-emergency call. They do an amazing job. Like I said, we have 732 dispatchers here in our Tarrant County 911 district area, and they are all amazing people that do an amazing job. 911 it's not just 911. That's the thing. They do so much more than that. They not only do they answer emergency calls, and some centers are different. Some have separate call takers, depending on the size of the agency. Some have separate call takers, and they just answer 911 calls. And some are just, they do the radio channels, meaning that they talk to the police, or maybe they just run the fire channels. They're all different, but they're all so important, all of them. And no matter what size, we need them all. They do so much. So not only do they answer 911 calls or, dispatch police, fire, and EMS, they also do paperwork type of, like different things like putting in stolen articles, missing people. I'm trying to even think of my own experience with doing that, all sorts of things. So, for example, when you report something stolen, let's say your car was stolen, unfortunately, police officer comes out, takes a report, and a lot of times a dispatcher will put that in. They'll put that in the system, and that way, anytime someone may come across your vehicle and run it or something, it'll pop up as a stolen vehicle. So the dispatch center does a lot of that. A 911 dispatch center is kind of, how do I say this? It's the best way of doing it. It's like the hub of everything. It's almost like that's where everyone gets their answers and solutions. There's so many intelligent men and women that work in there that get so much. And even when I used to sit and dispatch, because I've worked at three different agencies, one in Illinois and two here in North Texas, and I'm just so impressed of how quick some of these dispatchers are and how smart they are. And they just come up like, oh yeah, we can do that, or you know what, that's over here, or this or whatever. And it's great to see that. So these are the things, talking about this is why they deserve a week dedicated to them. And I personally think that they should have more than just a week. We still celebrate them every day because they're always there. They do such a great job. And they're also known as the unsung hero. I always say the person behind the curtain, that you never see. And I try to put them out so much. I try to highlight them as much as I can, because they all do wonderful things, not only just within their job and caring about their community and their passion for working for 911, but even some of the things they do off the clock. A lot of them volunteer. A lot of them do a lot of things with their kids, and a lot of them are very talented, and they'll have maybe little side businesses like baking or arts, or, making, I know a lot of them make the cool cups that you can, put all different designs on and everything. And I've had a couple of them, they've made me a couple, and it's just great. And it's good to have those types of hobbies or, extracurricular things to take your mind off of the things that you hear in dispatch, because these men and women, they're the first ones to hear what's going on. And it's such a roller coaster of what's going to happen when you answer that phone. Are you going to answer the phone and it's going to be, my aunt's having a heart attack? Are you going to answer the phone and it's going to be, oh, my neighbor cut my side of the tree and the judge said that was my tree and they cut it and they're not supposed to cut it? And do not call 911 for that. But unless it's a dangerous situation and it's threatening. On the other, so it's that kind of thing. Or, oh, my dog got out. Is that something you can help with? No, it's not. Or a dog is attacking someone, or, my husband of 30, 40 years, he's not breathing next to me. These are things that these amazing men and women, answer every day. And again, you don't know, it's almost like a lottery of what you're going to get when you answer that phone. Unfortunately, a lot of the calls that come into 911 are not emergencies, and we want to try to stop that. We want to keep these lines open, especially, we have a lot of big cities in our district. A lot of big cities. I mean, you shouldn't do it no matter what, because you want to keep these lines open. But Fort Worth, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Irving, Grapevine, all these cities, and you want to keep those lines open so that they're open to take actual emergencies. There's only so many lines that come into 911, so let's try to call the non-emergency number. Or some of the cities like Fort Worth have apps. So if you're calling about things like, my trash hasn't been picked up, my bulk trash, or my neighbor's parking their RV or their boat on the street all the time and they're not supposed to do that, or the street light's been out. Fort Worth has an app that you can download and you can report all that stuff. And that is super helpful, probably way more efficient. So it goes directly to the people that it needs to go to take care of those tasks. A lot of 911 education month right there. Throughout the month, myself and my intern, Jake, we're going to be sharing a lot of tips and a lot of, information about 911 and what to do and some facts and everything. Again, that week, the 9th through the 15th, that's solely dedicated to those men and women that are the thin gold line. And if you're like, thin gold line, what's a thin gold line? So I know everyone's probably seen the thin blue line flags. That represents police. The thin red line is fire. Gold is 911. White is EMS. Green is military, and gray is correctional or detention officer. And so, actually, there's kind of a confusion. So there's yellow and gold. And gold is 911, like I said. Yellow is going to be tow truck drivers and security, I believe. And please correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, I welcome any constructive criticism on anything. But yeah, so that's dedicated to them. They're the 911 first responders, headset heroes. They're the Gold Line family. And you too can also be a member of the Thin Gold Line family. There are several agencies in Tarrant County, in our district area, our Tarrant County 911 district area, that are hiring right now. It's a great career. It's a solid career. You're always going to have a job. So if another pandemic, help us if it ever happens. I hope it doesn't. But those are the kind of things to think about. I really want to help people and help the community. I want to make sure that I have a stable job that gives back and everything. And that's what, if you're looking for that and that's your checklist, this job is for you. It's definitely something that, it's not I'm going to tell you a few things. It's not a 9-to-5 job. This is 911. So you're talking, yes, you're going to be working on Christmas, depending on where your schedule falls, and birthdays and different other holidays. And the other thing too, it's not remote. So I do get this on our Facebook page. I'll post stuff to promote that several 911 centers are hiring in our district. And I'll get a lot of comments or a lot of private messages that will ask if it's remote, if they can do 911 remote. That is not, as far as I know, that is not a thing. 911 is not a remote position. You actually have to go to the center and do the job there. The nice thing is that, training and everything happens on the job. Training is immediate and usually can be it depends on you. It can be 3 months, 6 months. Depends if you've had experience before, if you haven't been having experience or anything. So that can help also. But again, you can go to our website, tc911.org, go on the homepage, scroll down past the podcast information, past the little video, and then you'll start seeing the jobs. We are actually hiring at our office for an implementation specialist. And if is that something that you're like, you can go on our website and read that job description and see if maybe that might be a good fit for you. And if it is, all of the links that I put on our website go directly to who is hiring. So that's actually us. So that'll actually come back to us. If you're applying for the City of Saginaw, City of Keller, or the several others that are listed on our job openings, that's going to go to their city. So we don't do the hiring. We help them promote that they're hiring. So don't send your resumes and applications to me. I can't do anything with it. But I love the enthusiasm though. But it's a great career. The public safety family is it really is amazing, and they do have each other back. It's like a family. When you go into public safety, you're with them a lot during holidays and everything. So it is a great job to have, and you do learn so much. The hiring process, it can take a little bit. There's background checks and everything, and each department may do it differently on the order how they do that or how they test or anything. So if you're questioning that and you have a particular city in mind, call them up, call their HR, and just ask questions. Hey, what is the process for this? How long does this take? Most of the pay ranges, the cities are great about putting that on there. So a lot of them, if you go on our website and start scrolling them down, they all have their pay on there. If it's not listed, then it's probably going to be, I know a lot of them advertise on their social media, and you can check that out there also. And I do post regularly on our social media on who's hiring or who gives me the green light, like, hey, we've just hired. And when I put it on our website, I'll also share it if it's something that's newer too. So anyway, if you want to be a part of the Thin Gold Line family and celebrate as a dispatcher during the second full week of April every year, you can do so by applying and joining the Thin Gold Line. The National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, a lot of people just say 911 week, 911 Appreciation Week. It's shorter, kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better. But it was actually set up in 1981 by Patricia Anderson of Contra Costa County in California. And then it later went on to become a nationwide long week event. It's great that the dispatchers are recognized, and like I said, they are known as the unsung heroes, and a lot of times they don't get a lot of the recognition that they deserve. Sometimes they don't get closures on different calls because maybe they work for busy cities and there's not really time to be like, oh my gosh, I was given CPR to this woman to give to her husband, and I wonder how it happened. How can I find out? And just in a short time on a 911 call, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, they're making this deep personal connection with someone because they're talking to someone on their worst day, an emergency that's so intimate and personal, and sometimes it's the last time they talk to that person, or that's the last person, or the dispatcher's the last person that person talks to. And that can get to you. That can. And as I was a dispatcher for 8 years, and I understand also. So these are the things that I like to share. I know they're really good at sharing them, and I love hearing the dispatchers' stories and about their career and everything. And that's why I'm excited to go out into our county and talk with them. That's why I'm so glad that they have a week that everyone can recognize them. So things that you can do as the public, first off, as 911 Education Month, you can always contact me and I can come out and talk to your organization, neighborhood groups, whatever you have. If you have questions, please let me know. Very easy to get a hold of. I run all of our social media pages, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, everything. You can just message. You can email me at publiced@tc911.org, and we'll have a good conversation. We'll find out what you need, and as long as I'm available, I will totally go. There's no charge at all. I come out, bring good information, talk about the do's and don'ts about 911, maybe some technology things depending on the age group of who I'm talking to. And what we do at the district, it's really good to know because every area is going to have it ran differently. And I mean, it's still the same service. It's 911, but it's ran differently. Some areas in the country, it's just ran from the police department, or it's in here we have district offices, or there's council of governments, COGS as we call them. Everyone has, every area might have a different way. So in Tarrant County, this is how 911 is ran here. We take care of it and monitor it and everything. So, and provide free 911 education for a representative like myself to come out and to talk to your organization or group if you'd like. So with that, if you would like to do something for the dispatchers, I welcome you to do so. They definitely deserve, like I said, any recognition. They love it. They do love their community. I have been here, like I said, about almost 7 years, and I hear how much passion they have. I hear how much they love helping the community. And every time I go visit them or I'm there dropping something off, one of the things they always say, I just love helping the community. I love being there for people. I want to help someone. I want to help save someone's life. I be there and everything. And a lot of them, depending on the agency, they give CPR. We just had, if you check our Facebook page, we just recently had a recognition of a dispatcher in Keller who gave CPR instructions to 2 citizens who needed to give CPR to a gentleman when he passed out at one of the local stores there. And that's on our Facebook there too. And things like that. I mean, and I get some of these calls. A lot of the managers in our district, I give different awards and recognitions for the dispatchers, and I'll get to listen to the calls. And this past couple weeks, I've gotten about 3, and they're so amazing. It's so amazing. And just them keeping this, they're not excited because, you don't want to call 911 and have someone on the other line who's supposed to be your lifeline also freaking out. That's not going to be helpful. But these calls, and they just keep this tone. And like, okay, I'm listening to these calls and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is amazing. Because I've been out of it for a while, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, so amazing. Such a good job. And to calmly get to have the caller do what they need to do. We always think we know what we're going to do in an emergency or a crisis situation, if you will. We always think like, oh, well, I wouldn't do this. Well, I would do this. Do you really know? I mean, do you really know? Because we say that. I don't think you can say you'd really know how you would handle something if something went crazy. I mean, I can even speak for myself. I have vascular disease, and I like to ride my bike up and down the Trinity River. And if you ever see me, I'm the one on the black bike, red helmet, and a bike duck named Chuck with a red helmet on my handlebars. But anyway, I was riding and I started experiencing, this was not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, and I was experiencing really bad chest pain. And since I have a pretty bad disease and I have a lot of heart problems, I was like, oh my gosh. And I do this job, and the first thing I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to call 911. But I had to do it. And I was scared, and you think you're going to know what to do. But the whole time I'm sitting there like, I don't want to have a heart attack out on the trail. Thanks to TRWD, I mean, when you're on the Trinity Trail too, of course, when you call 911 or text 911, it's all about location. Got to have your location. I was by the 911 sign. So if you're ever on any trails in Tarrant County, and if you're listening from somewhere not in Tarrant County, you may have something like that. I've seen them in different states where they give like a location number for if you need to call 911 if you're out in the wilderness or trails or wherever. So anyway, there was one right by me. The pain was so bad that I fell off my bike, and I mean, not like hard fall, but just kind of like, okay, slow motion of, slowly going back to earth. And I just called 911 and I gave them that information. And then I was actually close to familiar intersection because I know Fort Worth pretty well. The dispatcher was great. And of course, if you call 911 in Fort Worth and you need medical, you're going to get transferred to MedStar, and they were great too. And that's one of our agencies that we provide services to also. So they just do amazing, and everyone is just so professional and so nice and very low tone, not, excited or like, oh, okay, let me get you, just really like, okay, we're going to get help. Do you want to stay on the phone or, I was like, I felt embarrassed because I was like, but doing this job, if I call 911 and I don't give my location, what kind of public educator am I in the county? Because that would just totally defeat all the education I put out there. So of course I did. I had a really good idea where I was, but I also gave them the sign. So anyway, with that being said, they do such a great job, and just, easing people on what they're doing and bringing the person back to them. And I say that because as I listened to some of these calls, one particular, a caller was very frantic, and the situation she was in was very, very frantic. I mean, it was scary. I was listening and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like intense. I started thinking this is like stuff on TV, The dispatcher had such a great way of pulling this caller back and saying, hey, come back to me. We're going to talk. We're going to have a conversation, and answering her questions. And it wasn't just that call. It's so many other calls too that I've heard that just do an amazing, and the dispatchers that I've worked with in the past just do an amazing job. And I just remember sitting there going like, wow, they are so wonderful at what they do. I'm so thankful for them. And I'm still so thankful for all of them everywhere nationwide on what they do. So if you would like to do something for your 911 dispatchers, you can, if you live in Fort Worth or North Richland Hills or Grapevine or Burleson, and you're like, I want to do something for the dispatchers. You can get a hold of your local police department and give them a call or stop in during, whenever their lobby hours are open, and maybe ask, say, hey, we want to do something. Or if you're a teacher and you're like, oh, my kids, we all drew pictures of the Thin Gold Line flag and dispatchers and whatnot, or did some cards, or you want to have food catered in or drop something off for them. They love that. And they're so appreciative of that. They love t-shirts. Just going to tell you right off the bat, they love shirts. They love pretty much any swag. They're just so grateful. They just love anything. They love t-shirts. I give a gift to the district, and I'm in charge of buying the gift. No pressure, because after a while you're kind of like, what am I going to get them? Because I always want to get them something cool, and I want to give them something they're going to use. That's pretty universal, because it's such a diverse group that you want to get something that's like, okay, what's everyone going to use? I think for the past a few years, I've given them like jackets and blankets and cups and challenge coins and bracelets. And this year, I'll spill the beans. Some of them already have it so far, because there's 30 dispatch centers. So, it takes a while to deliver them here in Tarrant County. So they got a tumbler cup, like one of those big cups, like a Yeti cup type of thing. It's white and it has our logo on it. I'm like, you can fill that with all the coffee you want, or your favorite caffeinated beverage, because you gotta keep going. A lot of these dispatchers, they work long hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. They go home for 8 hours, they come back and do it again. It's a lot. And they help each other out, working different overtime shifts, helping someone out if they're sick or need to leave early. So, but getting them different gifts, they love it. The blankets, probably asking, why do you buy them blankets? Because dispatch centers are freezing. They're cold. It's always cold in there because they have all that equipment. So, of course, you don't want it, 80 degrees in there. So it gets pretty chilly in there. So they love a nice, I got them, I think it was like 2 years ago. I know it was around the big ice storm, or it was that year, because that was in February and then obviously April. And so I got them these Snuggies. I'm sorry, you can't say Snuggies. Body blankets is the correct trademark term. So, and they were black. And then I had this embroidery that said #911 first responder on it. And they really loved it. And I actually have one for myself, and I love it. It's so warm and nice, and it's like a hug. So it's great. Who doesn't want to be hugged when you're at work? Especially if you're a 911 dispatcher. They deserve all the hugs that we can give them. Just a thought, if you wanted to do something for that, you can, like I said, reach out. And if you want, you can reach out to me. I can definitely help you out with that. Again, send messages on our social media, or you can email me, publiced@tc911.org. As we move forward through this podcast, if you have questions, and we can, get some questions answered for you and talk about different topics and everything that you may have about 911 and want to know, whether it's career-wise or technology-wise, or, why does this happen? How does this process work? Please send me your questions. I would love to answer them. Again, like I said, I'm excited for season 2 to come up, because I'll be talking to a lot of the dispatchers, and you'll be able to hear a lot of wonderful voices that hopefully you'll never have to hear, but that they're there, and they're there to help you. So with that being said, happy 911 Education Month, and thank you to all of the wonderful 911 headset heroes, not only here in Tarrant County and not only here in Texas, but all over the U.S. that do such an amazing job helping their community. And 911 saves lives also. They do. A lot of these dispatchers administer CPR and all sorts of different medical instructions to help save lives, because just like our logo says, seconds count. And as we continue this month, you'll see all sorts of different things on our social media. Please love, like, share, smile, thumbs up, whatever you want to do. I definitely appreciate your support. I've been doing the social media here as long as I've been working, mostly as much time as I've been working here. And I really appreciate the community's support, what we're doing here and who we are, and me educating you of that so that share our information. And again, I welcome questions, comments, even constructive criticism. A lot of times I just start something and I'll be like, okay, let's see what we're doing here, and I love doing the podcast and reaching the community on another platform. And if you're listening for the first time, or you just saw this on our website, you can also, if you do, a podcaster, you love listening to podcasts, then you can listen to us on Spotify, Audible, YouTube, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Google Podcast, or on our website. We've put the link on there that you can just listen it right off the website, or you can go to our podcast page and also look at the YouTube there. Make it real convenient. I like to be a one-stop shop. I don't want you to start searching around for stuff. I want you to go to one place, find exactly what you need, and help you out there. So thank you so much for listening today. I hope you're having a fabulous day, and new podcasts every Monday. I hope that you have a fabulous week.